What's going on, guys? I actually was just finished. Actually, didn't really finish. I just got into Guardians of the Galaxy. I am going through and I'm writing the script for Age of Apocalypse Part 3, which we're finally getting around to doing that again. And I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but I figured while I was trying to gain my bearings, I'd sit down and watch a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy, which it's really bad because like I have really bad ADD, and so I can never like sit and do anything for any prolonged amount of time. Like I'll sit down and I'll start watching like Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I'll be like, okay, like I need to like work on Age of Apocalypse, and then I'll start working on Age of Apocalypse, and then I'll be doing that for like a few minutes, and then I'll be like, okay, I got to do something else. Like I can never just like sit and focus, which is like wild. Yeah, I got my PS4 going. I've got Destiny. I'll probably play Destiny here in a little bit. If any of you guys want to play Destiny for a little bit while I'm at, while when we're done with this, send me a request. My friend list is actually full on PS4, so send me a message like I don't know I don't know something and just say hey like I want to play Destiny or something like that, and I'll invite you to play with me. So might do some like I want to do level 32 of the Prison of Elders, so we might get around to might be able to do that. So anyway, yeah, it's funny. See, walked into the chat. Oh, I need to play my music. Okay, I'm listening to Tiesto from Museum Playing Amsterdam in 2006, Queen's Day. One of the best sets he ever put on. But anyway, again, for YouTube channels, again, we always sort of talk about YouTube channels. We kind of discuss some YouTube channels that are worth checking out. This was actually a little bit different this time. Of course, I've got Rob Explains in the bottom, so you guys can check out my new channel where I explain stuff outside of comic books. And then there's also oh god, Evan Handyside. But for those of you guys who were curious about the music that I used in my video about the importance or why how it was that Civil War saved Marvel, the link for the guy who makes that music is in the description, and he's actually really good at it. Like I really enjoy the music that he makes, so definitely check that out because he's pretty solid. Like he usually does covers and stuff like that, but he's really solid, and I really enjoy the music that he makes. So I've got some e-cigarette juice on my desk. I hate that. Like when somehow it gets on your desk and you don't know how it happened. It's just like there. No, I won't be at E3, but I really want to go. Like I'm really psyched about what they're going to be doing with a lot of the games. The rumor is that supposedly, God, who was it? It wasn't Bungie, I don't think, but that one of the companies, whoever it was that made Dishonored, that they were basically going through like the rehearsal, and they demoed the reveal of Dishonored 2. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. I wasn't a huge fan of the first Dishonored. I didn't play it like religiously. I was just kind of like, meh. I mean, it's cool, but there wasn't anything like outrageously amazing. So okay, so how do I find new music for my videos? Honestly, it's a combination of two things. One is I have an agreement sort of with Monster Cat Media. The Monster Cat Media is an electronic, actually, we just started, Zandino, I guess. Um, Monster Cat Media is a company that puts out like electronic music and stuff like that, but most of the music that I get comes from there, and I pay like $8 a month or something like that, and I can use any of their songs for free, or I guess I can monetize any of their songs on my YouTube channel. So I think it's actually a really cool deal. See, to me, like companies like Sony and those guys would be much better off if they did that. If they said, "Hey, pay us like $15 a month and you can use any of the songs from like the Sony music catalog on your YouTube channel." They'd make so much money. Like it would be absolutely ridiculous. You have billions and billions of minutes, or I guess of hours of video uploaded on YouTube every day. Like think of all the money they could rake in, but they're too boneheaded to make that kind of a decision. So um anyway, so yeah, that's the answer to that. The other thing is whenever I'm looking for like hip hop music, like I prefer down tempo hip hop music. I prefer stuff that's not like super ridiculous. I like stuff that kind of has that Jay-Z jazzy kind of feel to it. It's kind of hard to describe, but for example, Jay-Z's song "Can I Live," like that is one of my favorite types, like favorite sounds of hip hop music. Most Def, Talib Kweli, I guess Black Star or I guess Talib Kweli and Most Def as Black Star, Common. Those are some of my favorite forms of hip hop, where it's not like rapping about guns and mobs and getting women and stuff like that. It's like hip hop with an actual purpose to it, and that's what I prefer. And so I usually just jump on YouTube and I'll send like a message off to the person, or I'll post a comment saying, "Hey, do you care if I use this?" And usually they're like, "I don't care." Like they'll see my channel and they'll be like, "Oh my god, this guy's got 300,000 subscribers. Yeah, dude, you can use it. Just like tell people you got it from me," which makes sense. So, um, let's see. Why is Thor unworthy? We don't know. Actually, I'm going to keep my jug of water right here. We don't know why Thor's unworthy. Marvel hasn't told us. No, I don't watch the NBA. I prefer NFL and college football. Marvel hasn't told us why Thor's unworthy. We have no clue. Like, all we know is that um, he's just not worthy. They may explain it to us at some point in time. I have no doubt that Jason Aaron will be like, "Hey guys, here's the reason why Thor is not worthy." But for right now, they're not telling us, and so we're just it's kind of left up there. We may never find out, to be honest, or we might find out. I have no idea. But either way, we just don't know. Um, Let's see. Hulk with the Venom symbiote. Has it happened? I don't think so, but I'm not the most knowledgeable about the history of the whole Venom symbiotes. I know enough to say to like hold my own in a conversation, but I'm not like a specialist in the symbiotes. I think that like the Carnage symbiote, either in some kind of an alternate reality or in the main reality, had like taken like I guess bonded with all these different superheroes and stuff. But again, I'm not really sure about that. My favorite genre of music. It's kind of a mishmash. EDM's definitely up there, and then like hip hop is up there with it. So, um, let's see. What song did you use in on the Secret Wars Part 3 video? Please answer. I don't even know what that song is. I don't know. I don't remember what song I used. Um, let's see. Thor became worthy again, and time runs out when he fought the Beyonders. Actually, he didn't. He didn't become worthy. What happened, and I think we explained. I don't remember if we explained this or not. Thor and the multiversal Avengers had traveled to. When they were going through the incursions, they had encountered an alternate reality where there was a hammer that was made explicitly for people who were unworthy, and that's the hammer that Thor was wielding. That's why it says, "Whosoever hold this hammer, if he be unworthy, shall possess the power of Thor." And then you're actually right. Yeah, he became worthy again once that was over. He was able to lift. He wasn't able to lift the unworthy hammer. He could lift the regular hammer, but it didn't matter because they died immediately. So, but Tiesto. I love this. I love this mix. It's freaking amazing. Am I excited for True Detective? Yes. Oh my god, the first season of True Detective, it was mind blowing. Like Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, that was one of the best roles I've seen Matthew McConaughey in a long time. When I saw that series, I was like, oh my god, mind blown. Like, okay, Matthew McConaughey's solid. It's one of the best things I've seen him in since A Time to Kill, to be honest, and that's been a while. So, um, let's see. Shouldn't Marvel with Disney be able to make great animated films? Where is hold on a second. Where is the product we deserve and need? Well, I don't know if there's really anything that people deserve. I mean, I don't think anybody's really like entitled to anything, but um, I mean, the one that you guys want, I guess. In truth, Marvel's doing quite well with live action films. There's really no reason to make an animated film at this point. They may. I mean, I don't see any reason why Disney wouldn't somewhere along the line, but right now they don't really need to, and so there'd be no reason to have it. Let's see. Rob, what book is Jonathan Hickman going to work on at DC Comics? I have no clue. And Jonathan Hickman may not even know. With the way things are running at DC Comics, DC probably doesn't even know. I have no idea. I have no clue what he's going to be working on. I mean, really, him going to DC Comics is a rumor. That's a rumor I've been hearing. That's a rumor I've been going by. I'm not sure if it's been confirmed. I don't know if Hickman himself has been like, I'm going to DC Comics. He may just go somewhere else. He may go to like Velvet. I think Sal said he might go to like Velvet or something like that. But either way, he's leaving Marvel, so we know that for sure. Um, let's see. Wait, technically, if you pick up the unworthy hammer, doesn't that mean you are worthy? No. The hammer's designed for people who are unworthy. whereas the normal hammer is designed for people who are worthy. So they're two different things. Hey Rob, what is the oldest comic you own? Probably this one, Fantastic Four Annual Number Two, the one I keep on display. That is, well, no, that's not true. That's not true. And you guys are actually gonna like, you guys are gonna be amazed by this. I own, well, it's really worn out and in really crappy condition, and I keep it in the long boxes. But I own a copy of Amazing Fantasy number 15. So I paid like $2,500 for it. It was a lot of money, but I really needed it. So, I like keeping that stuff away. Like I like keeping it, because the problem here is if somebody like broke into my house and I had all these comic books that I worked all this money storing around here, I mean, I'd be devastated. It would be absolutely awful. And so instead, I just kind of keep it all confined. Keep it all sort of hidden away. Um, People are saying the video is kind of buggy. Is the video buggy at all for you guys? I mean, it shouldn't be bugging out too much. Although it does look like it's kind of flickering a little bit. Uh, I don't think I don't know what to do about that. I don't know how to fix that. But YouTube's been implementing a whole bunch of stuff too, like the chat's different and all that kind of stuff. So maybe they screwed up live streaming. I have no idea. But anyway, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think people don't really care that much. Let's see. Yeah, I was actually kind of on the fence about whether or not I was going to do comics and coffee because I was like, I really need to work on Age of Apocalypse Part 3. But I love comics and coffee. I love talking to you all. So I figured, why not, just do the live stream. It's only an hour out of the day, and I can hopefully force myself to, like, you know, work on it. So, let's see. It went from what? It went from 10. Okay, I was never streaming in 1080 in the first place, so there's no way it went from 1080 to 240. But um, let's see. The thoughts on Punisher being in Daredevil. Okay, so we talked about this during the weekly poll, and I am psyched. I mean, it's the perfect testing ground for the Punisher. Having the Punisher featured, and I'm actually not drinking coffee, I'm drinking water. So, um, having the Punisher featured in is like basically like having a cameo or having a few appearances in some other person's Netflix series is a great way to gauge like audience reception because they don't have to invest millions and millions of dollars or I guess however much money they have to invest to make a Punisher TV show. They can literally just bring John into the or I guess bring the guy that plays the Punisher. I don't like referring to him by John. I don't like referring to him by his first name because I don't know him. It's kind of weird, but they can bring the actor into the Daredevil series. They can gauge fan reaction and then decide whether or not they want to actually have a TV show based on him from there. And so, again, it's it'll be interesting. Either way, it'll be it'll be solid. I think. I doubt that we'll be disappointed. I don't think that we're going to sit down and say, "Oh my God, like this sucks." This is awful. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think we're going to be like, "This is amazing." Okay, so Rob, why isn't the MCU and the Disney XD TV shows on Battleworld? They're alternate Earths, right? Shouldn't they belong there? It seems like what Marvel's doing is they're basically saying that their comic book universe is separate from all other forms of media. The only exception to that is Spider-Verse. We saw with Spider-Verse that they actually brought in different versions of Spider-Man from like the animated cartoon show from the 1960s, which was dumb, and stuff like that. So they brought in some of those bigger things. But with the rest of the Marvel universe, I don't really, or I guess the Marvel comics, I don't really think we've ever seen an instance where we've had characters, for example, like Spider-Man, or I'm sorry, like non-Spider-Man characters who have been featured as part of the non-Marvel Comics universe in comic book form. I could be wrong, but I don't think we've ever seen like X-Men the Animated Series in comic book form. We'll see that with X-Men '92, but we've never really seen that before with anything else. So anyway, let's see. Um, Rob, what do you would you ever do Green Lantern Emerald Twilight? I was actually thinking about doing that. I was thinking about doing Emerald Twilight because I mean that's Kyle Rayner. That is, oh my God, Kyle Rayner, he gets Hal Jordan's ring and becomes like super cool after that. He's like the new Green Lantern. I thought about doing that. I may or may not. It really kind of depends. At this point, it's okay. And here's what I wanted to pick your all's brain about this. I wanted to talk to you guys about this. So, the the video that I did about how Civil War saved Marvel. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about like the audio and different things like that? I want to get your all's opinion on that because what I'm thinking about doing is transitioning my Marvel Explained, or I guess my Comics Explained videos to like that format where I have more of like a narration, more of like a mini documentary kind of format where it's like, me just basically telling you guys exactly what's going on, explaining everything, but having this sort of documentary feel to it. So let me know, how you guys feel about that. Will you get Emergency Awesome? We're working on it, and things are looking pretty good. I'm not going to swear to anything. Won't tell you guys anything's happening for sure. Just saying we're working on trying to get Emergency Awesome on the podcast. But he is, if you look at his uploads and you look at when he uploads and you look at what it is that he talks about and how topical he is, that guy's schedule is stupid busy. So that guy was crazy. But let's see. What do you think will be the new Marvel movie after the ones that have been confirmed? I don't know. That's the big problem. Is Phase 3? We know what that is. We know what Phase 3 is. It's going to lead up to the Infinity War. That's Phase 3. Phase 4. That's going to be the tough one. Where do you go from there? I guess you have the Inhumans take a larger approach. Maybe you bring like the entire Secret Wars element from the comics into the movies. I'm not really sure how all that's going to play out, and it's really going to be tough to do. I would say that most likely what'll happen is, well, at least hopefully by that point, Marvel will in some capacity have a deal worked out with Fox. Well, they'll be able to use the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and if they do, then it's going to be solid. If they do, it's going to be those are the characters that we're going to see in the new films. So I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping that's what we get. But again, there's no real guarantee about that. So, ever thought about recording Destiny? Not really. I mean, I'm a comic book channel, not a gaming channel, so I don't really do gaming that much. It's not really my thing. Which, by the way, if you guys ever get a chance, check out a guy called Chesties187 here on YouTube. He does like Battlefield and stuff like that, but he's actually got some pretty entertaining gameplay. So I'd say definitely check that guy out. If you guys like video games, that guy's definitely worth taking a look at. Let's see. Scroll back up. Scroll back up. Scroll back up. Oh God, which side am I on for Civil War? Ooh. Am I Tony Stark or am I Captain America? Which side do I pick? Hmm. You guys are probably going to be you're probably going to be a little bit like, oh my God, Rob. But I'm Team Iron Man. I think he made the right call. I think Iron Man made the right decision because here's a stance that I take. Yes, freedom is cool, and Captain America is like, yes, pro freedom and all that kind of good stuff. Yes, freedom is a necessary aspect for the thriving of any organized society. But of what use is freedom to a society that destroys itself? If society would use that freedom to destroy itself, of what good is freedom? I mean, more important than any one individual or country is the survival of the human race. If the survival of the human race means the strict and, I guess, harshly enforced adherence to a prescribed set of laws, then that's what it takes. Because the freedom that was demonstrated over the course of Civil War, the freedom that we saw, the circumstances that led up to the implementation of the Superhuman Registration Act was that superheroes and supervillains were blowing stuff up. They were destroying cities, people were dying. I mean, they were just involved in these colossal conflicts. And so the problem was that something had to be done. Because if something wasn't done, either society would destroy itself or humanity would step in and we would see a Days of Future Past kind of scenario taking place. And so I think Tony Stark made the right call. He did it wrong. He did it in the worst way possible, but he made the right decision. Captain America, I think, was the one that was at fault because I think Captain America was blind to the fact that society would destroy itself. He said, well, we need to have freedom at all costs, even if it means our own destruction. Like, that's a ridiculous idea to have. So, Let's see. In all new, all different Marvel, should they give Uncanny back to Claremont? Finally give him the freedom he wanted in the 90s? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you right now. I doubt that they will give the X Men back to Chris Claremont, and here's why. Chris Claremont is considered the X-Men writer. I mean, no matter what Chris Claremont does, when he went to DC, he wrote the Sovereign Seven. When he came back to Marvel, he wrote Extreme X-Men. I mean, no matter what it is that he does, even with the books that he publishes, the fictional novels, the problem is that he is the X-Men writer. God Loves, Man Kills, Days of Future Past, the Phoenix Saga, all that stuff was Chris Claremont. Everything that happened in with the X-Men from 1974, 75, all the way up till about 93, that was all Chris Claremont and a combination of John Byrne and Jim Lee. The issue is that if they said, okay, Chris Claremont's writing the X-Men again, X-Men issues are going to skyrocket because Chris Claremont is going to write good stories. He's not going to write crappy stories. He's not going to destroy his own name for the sake of Marvel. And so it's going to absolutely like take off in terms of, hold on a second. Let me see if this is actually 240p. People are saying this is 240p. It's not 240p. If it's 240p, that's an issue on your part. It's not an issue on anybody else's part. But anyway, he's not going to tarnish his own name. He's going to basically work and create good stories, and because of that, X-Men are going to sell. And so they're not going to give the X-Men to somebody that can write good stories. It's like the end is forever. When Marvel was getting rid of the Fantastic Four, they did it in two stages. The first stage was killing off the Fantastic Four, and the second stage was giving it to a crappy writer. Like that's how they killed the Fantastic Four, and no one really cares about Fantastic Four stories anymore. I mean, when was the last time you guys went out and bought a Fantastic Four story? That's my question. But yeah, I'm showing a 720p. If you guys can't see it in 720p, then that's something else going on. So, let's see. Do the characters in Battle World know other versions of them exist? Like She-Hulk. Okay, see, here's a really cool thing about Battle World, and we'll explain this, and we might actually do a video talking about Battle World in and of itself, like explaining Battle World, because again, we've got to wait for Secret Wars to finish, we've got to wait for all the tie-ins to finish before we can do those tie-in stories. I mean, again, we'll be doing Secret Wars as it goes along, but in terms of like the Old Man Logan stories, in terms of like Infinity Gauntlet, stuff like that, we have to wait, for those to continue on before we make videos on them. But what we know is that in Battle World, everybody knows everybody else is there. A-Force knows that there's Planet Hulk. Old Man Logan knows that Doctor Doom is God, and that there's all these things going on. They may not know about the Ultimate Universe characters that showed up out of the Life Raft. They may not know about the Earth 616 characters that came out of the Life Raft. All they know is that all these other people exist out there. And so I would say that the Incredible Hulk, all versions of the Incredible Hulk, reside within Planet Hulk. That seems to be the case. Now, that's not confirmed. We may see another version of the Incredible Hulk somewhere else. It's entirely possible. But, I mean, we know, for example, with the Old Man Logan story, that at the end of the Old Man Logan graphic novel, the original, or I guess the main story, that Logan, or I guess Wolverine killed all the Hulks. And they referenced that. But all the versions of the Incredible Hulk that we've seen so far are in Greenland. Like that's where they all are. That's their home. That's their location. We haven't seen any Incredible Hulks outside of that. So again, it doesn't mean we won't. And we may see that once Battle World comes to an end, that things just sort of begin to mesh together and sort of work together, and then we'll see different characters spread throughout Battle World itself, and maybe even other realities as opposed to just this what we have here. But nonetheless, who should be the next Spider-Man? Well, initially, I heard it was supposed to be Asa Butterfield, but apparently he's not in the running anymore. So I don't know. I mean, he was my pick. He was a solid person to play the role of Spider-Man, of Peter Parker. So I have no clue, who that character is going to be now. I don't know. At this point, I have no idea. I still think they should go with Miles Morales, but again, I could be wrong here. So I think Miles Morales would be a great take away from tradition. I mean, Spider-Man fans love Miles Morales. Unless you're like a really hardcore Peter Parker fan that doesn't like change, like Miles Morales is a great character. And I think that them like breaking away and saying this is not going to be Peter Parker Spider-Man, this is going to be Miles Morales. It will give them a chance to do a more modern take on Spider-Man. It'll give them a chance to feature, more realistic characters. I think that's going to be an awesome concept. So anyway, Um, let's see. The actor left in the running are like 10 years. Yeah. um, will Marvel and DC do a crossover? Well, I have no idea. I mean, they have in the past, but I don't think we'll see them do a crossover anytime soon. As much as it sucks to say that, and as much as a crossover would rock, I don't think we're going to see them do a crossover together. Which I'd love to see them do a crossover. I would love to see them get together and do something like that. But again, we're probably not going to see that. It kind of sucks, but um, I don't know. I mean, let's see. Rob, should the Punisher have been cast with a black actor for Daredevil? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I know the comic you're talking about, but that was a one-off. That's that. I mean, that's no, that's not going to happen. Rob, what do you think will happen with the last Wolverine? Do you think they will go for a specific storyline? No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that they'll keep it. They'll keep the trend going. Um, can I explain Secret Wars in 60 seconds or less? Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I could. Um, yeah. I mean, I could explain Secret Wars in 60 seconds or less. I mean, hold on. Let's wait till the clock turns to 5:24. It shouldn't be, but a few more seconds. It's gonna be like the longest 30 seconds ever. Um, I mean, it can't. It's. I mean, I assume you're talking about the original Secret Wars. That's the one that I'll explain in 60 seconds or less. But I mean, it wasn't that complicated. It was pretty straightforward. Come on, clock. A watch clock never ticks, or whatever that is. A watch pot never boils. That's what the phrase is. A watch pot never boils. As soon as you walk away, it just bam immediately starts boiling. So 420 vape? No, not at all. Not a not an avid celebrator of 420. Okay, so the Secret Wars was basically a circumstance whereby the Beyonder, which was the result of energy from the negative zone, creating a life in and of itself within the Marvel universe. He basically was curious about good and evil. He was curious about why good guys fight bad guys. And so what he did is he took the most pronounced superheroes and the most pronounced supervillains. He put them on one planet and made them fight each other. Whoever it was would win, that won the fight would basically get whatever it was that they wanted. Over the course of the conflict, Doctor Doom actually stole the power of the Beyonder, made himself a god, and then lost the power to the Beyonder again when the Beyonder took it away. And Marvel introduced some characters. They introduced like, Julia Carpenter as Spider Girl and or Spider Woman and stuff like that. And that was it. I mean, there's not much to the original Secret Wars. I mean, it's basically fighting and some stuff happens, and Spider-Man gets the Venom costume, but that's it. Like, that's your 60-second explanation of Secret Wars, 1984. So it's just hailed as a classic story because it's actually the Contest of Champions is the first crossover of Marvel Comics, but it was the first like huge, massive, galactic spanning crossover that Marvel had, or at least it's considered to be. And so, um, anyway, hold on a second. Okay. Rob, if Sony made a Sinister Six movie, would that be a part of the MCU? I doubt it. Sony making a Sinister Six movie is going to be laughable at best, and so I would say that that's no, I don't think that's going to happen. If they made a Sinister Six movie, I wouldn't go see it, and I would really hope that they would not bring it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's not what I would really want. um, let's see. Should the Punisher be portrayed as a villain for Daredevil, season 2, or immediately be an anti-hero? Immediately be an anti. Well, I mean, the nature of him. I think that it would be kind of a gradual process. Like when Daredevil first learns about the Punisher, he's going to think he's a bad guy, and then I think once he learns about the backstory of the Punisher, then he'll become an anti-hero. He'll understand. It'll be like us as fans. Like for those of us as fans, who were reading the Punisher stories. When Punisher first appeared in Spider-Man number 129, I think it was, he was like, I'm going to kill Spider-Man. And that was it. We didn't really have like a backstory. We didn't know a whole lot about what was going on. It wasn't until later on, and of course, the story has been retold and like Welcome Back, Frank, and stuff like that. But, when his story was told to us, then we were like, oh, this is a guy who's just pissed off at the world because his family got smeared in a gangland shootout. Well, that sucks. And that was it. Like, we understood where he was coming from. And so he'll be an anti-hero the entire time. It's just we're going to see it through the eyes of Daredevil. And Daredevil's going to see him as a villain and then eventually understand his plight and then see him as an anti-hero. I think that's the best way to go. But again, Marvel's writing this story, so I have no idea what direction they're going to choose. Let's see. Do you think in the future Marvel will get the rights to everything? X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, etc., and reboot the MCU? I think so. I think there'll come a point where Disney will realize that the amount of money they would spend to get those rights back versus the amount of money they would make, that they would make a lot more money in the end. They would make some. I mean, imagine like a Marvel cinema. I mean, right now we know that Marvel's coming out with a Spider-Man movie. I can tell you right now without even knowing what the plot's going to be about. A Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Spider-Man is going to be a cash cow. That movie is going to make more money than Avengers 1 and Avengers 2. Not combined, but it's going to make more money than both of those films. It's going to make so much cash because people are like, oh my God, like Sony keeps making Spider-Man films, they keep screwing it up. Even like casual moviegoers who don't know anything about Spider-Man are just like, man, this movie sucks. And so when Marvel's like, hey, we're making a Spider-Man film, people are going to be like, well, I mean, look at like Iron Man, Captain America 2, Captain America 3, and like, I guess, Avengers 1 and Avengers 2 and stuff. They're going to be like, yes, I'm so going to go see that. And it's going to make a ton of money. If they did that with like, Deadpool, if Marvel got the rights back to his character and made a movie about him, he's going to cross over into everything. Even if he only appears in a movie for 5 minutes, he'll be in like every single movie, and fans will go nuts about it. The X-Men, the Fantastic Four, it'll give Marvel a chance to make the universe that I'm sure they wanted to make all along, as opposed to being confined to like the Avengers. I think that would end up being the cost. But nonetheless, again, we don't know. I mean, it could be that Fox is like, if you want the rights back, you have to give us like $10 billion, and that's just an exorbitant amount of money. But nonetheless, it's possible. Fox doesn't even have to give the rights back. As long as they keep making movies, the rights stay with them, and so they can just keep cranking out crappy movies, with the exception of Days of Future Past, and they'll keep the rights. And so there's nothing to say that they'll even give them back to Marvel. So. Could Wolverine take down Luke Cage? That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that question. I know Luke Cage has indestructible skin, but I don't know if his skin is indestructible compared to Wolverine's adamantium, or if it's indestructible compared to anything. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how indestructible his skin is. I don't really even think that's ever been put to the test. So, let's see. Hyperion was in the all new Marvel picture. Do you think that they're wasting potential to develop a new Avenger character instead of a guy who looks like Superman? I don't think so, because Hyperion is the closest Marvel's ever had to a Superman character. I mean, you've got the Sentry, but Hyperion has super strength. He has X-ray vision, so to speak. He can like see the molecular structure of things, so call that some version of X-ray vision if you want to. He's got laser eyes, he's got flight, he's super. I mean, he has all the powers of Superman basically, minus like frost breath. I don't think he has the ability to blow freezing breath out of his mouth. He's the closest Marvel has to Superman without being a carbon copy of Superman. No way they're going to let that go. They're going to keep it. That's why they brought back Squadron Supreme or Squadron Sinister. It's no accident the Squadron Sinister is in in Secret Wars. I mean, Squadron Sinister was never a significant group. They were never so big that fans were just like, oh my God, Squadron Sinister, like when are they going to make a movie about them? It was never, they were never that big. It's just they're the closest thing that Marvel has to what equates to the Justice League of America in an evil form in the Marvel Universe. So, hey Rob, actual Doom or cosmic entities? That's the question we were asking in the podcast. The question we were asking is this: is Doctor Doom in Secret Wars actually Doctor Doom, or is it like Doctor Doom / Molecule Man? Is it Molecule Man that looks like Doctor Doom, that made himself look that way and is pretending to be Doctor Doom? Is Doctor Doom now a cosmic entity? I mean, I don't know. If the cosmic entities continued on, if for some reason they were able to exist, could Doctor Doom defeat the cosmic entities? How powerful is he? Is he he, universal powerful, or is he multiversal powerful? These are things that we don't know the answer to. I hope we get them, and I think Hickman will give them to us, but we just don't have the answers right now. So, um, let's see, Rob. Do you think the Sentry can get a movie? I think he could, and I think it'd be good, but I think he'd be better off with a Netflix TV show. See, here's the deal, guys. Netflix TV shows are far cheaper to make than movies. Movies, you're talking about, the money that takes to distribute it. You're talking about the money that takes to get people to produce it. You're talking about the money it takes to pay the high caliber actors, because not very many people are going to go see a movie that has like low caliber actors. And so Netflix is the best way, because they can basically go to Netflix and they can say, hey, make this TV show, and Netflix can make it for nickels and dimes and produce a high quality TV show. So I think it's a much better call for them to give him his own Netflix show. So in truth, I think that's the future, to be honest. Like Netflix originals, that's going to be the future of television. That's going to be the future of what leads into movies. That's going to be the testing bed for a lot of Marvel stuff, I think, going forward. Marvel's going to start introducing, because of the success of Daredevil, Marvel's going to start introducing a lot of things into the Netflix TV shows. They're going to start introducing or injecting, characters that we wouldn't normally see in a movie. They're going to throw them into Netflix. And if people are just like, oh my God, this is amazing, then Marvel's going to be like, let's make a movie. And if people are like, man, that sucks, Marvel's going to be like, well, let's just kill that character off and we'll never see or hear from him again. And that's it. And it's a smart move to make. So, hey, Rob, do you like the idea of Doom being God, or do you prefer somebody else? I like Doom being God. Like, I think it's a cool concept for Doom to be like the God of the Marvel Universe, or I guess this new Marvel Universe. So, since we have a Punisher to appear in the Daredevil series, do you think we could see the Punisher in 2017 Spider-Man movie? I don't know. I don't think so. It depends on the success of the Punisher. It depends on how much people like him. I have no doubt they're going to write him well. It's just we don't really know if people are going to be receptive to the Punisher. So, hey Rob, I'm new to comics. What storyline or hero should I start with? Suggestions. Okay, well, Marvel's basically changing everything. With Secret Wars, read the original Old Man Logan graphic novel. Jump into really just kind of pick and choose what you want to read in Secret Wars. If you want to know how Secret Wars came about, read Time Runs Out by Jonathan Hickman, which will be available in trade paperback form probably sometime in the next several months if it's not already. And then and really just kind of go for it. Like, that's really all you need. If you're a DC fan, I would highly suggest starting with the current run of Superman. In truth, as far as I understand it, you can read Batman number 41. Like, it's standalone. Like, that's it. Like, all you have to do is read Batman number 1, and you know everything that's happened so far, and that's really all you need. That's what Benny mentioned anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I think that's the best way to go. With regards to anybody else, I mean, Superman just lost his powers, so that's a really good place to start. You can really just kind of do some light reading about Superman and his new 52. You don't really have to if you don't want to. I'd say that him losing his powers is a great way to kind of jump into where things are right now, and definitely start with the newest run of Justice League, because that leads into Darkseid Wars. So, let's see, Rob, what is your favorite comic? It's actually a series of comics, and it's not the Punisher. It is the Sentry series, the one where Sentry first appears. It's like a 5-part series. So, let's see. Do you think Original Sin could get a movie? No, not by a long shot. What's my vape mod? This is a Sigelli 100 watt plus. What do I think of Jim Gordon, Batman? I haven't read that yet. I actually didn't know that Jim Gordon was Batman. I haven't, honestly, I've been so busy trying to keep up with like Age of Apocalypse and Secret Wars, I haven't had a whole lot of time to read DC. I need to make time, but I haven't had a whole lot of time to see it yet. So, I'll definitely check it out and let you guys know what I think. What's my all-star X-Men team? Oh, wow. The problem is there's so many people who are overpowered. Okay. Top 5 X-Men members. Wolverine, Emma Frost. No. Wolverine, Jean Grey as a Phoenix Force. Probably like White, White Crown of the Phoenix, the White Room, like the White Hot Room, Jean Grey. Let's see, those are 2. Iceman Bobby Drake, Storm, and I don't know, maybe Colossus. I don't know. I'm kind of picking them off the top of my head, and I don't really have a whole lot of time to think. If I thought about it, if I had a whole lot of time to think about it, I could probably give you guys a more in depth answer. But off the top of my head, um, hello Rob. If Fox loses the Fantastic Four movie rights, do you think Secret Invasion could be turned into a movie? No, I don't think so, because Secret Invasion is just too big. I mean, it could happen. It'd be interesting if it did. It'd be a good way to retcon everything. But I think people would say this is dumb, and people would kind of get upset about it. So. Um, why is Age of Apocalypse taking so long? Because we have so much to do. And in truth, Age of Apocalypse isn't as popular as I thought it was, so we're just kind of taking our time with it. So, um, let's see, Rob, if you were a superhero, what would your powers be? What would my name and powers be? Um, I don't know what my name would be, but my powers would be. uh, My name would be the Cash Man, and my power would be to reach in my pocket and have however much money I needed at any particular point in time. Like if I walked into a gas station and I wanted to get like $20 worth of gas, I could reach in my pocket and immediately pull out a 20. If I walked into like Best Buy and wanted to buy like a $4,000 TV, I could reach into my pocket and have $4,000. Like that'd be my power. So, um, do Asgard and the other realms have a place in Battleworld? We don't know. We see. I thought we were going to get that. I thought we were going to see that in Planet Hulk. Like I thought that was going to be Odin, like the actual Odin, and it turns out it's not. So, I thought that's how it was going to play out. So we don't know. I mean, we have no idea. Um, Rob, who is your favorite superhero? The Sentry. Well, the Century before they folded him into the main Marvel universe, like that. When they took him out of Marvel Knights and they screwed it up. So, um, do you prefer the comic art styles of the past 80s and 90s, or the current art style that seems a little more realistic? Well, in truth, it depends. I mean, John Byrne. See, I didn't really think about this until Sal and I were talking, and Sal was like, "Dude, look up some old school John Byrne," and he sent me a link to John Byrne when he drew the Fantastic Four, I think, or something like that. And his art style was incredible. Like his art style was stellar. At the same time, I mean, you've got like modern artists like Jay Lee. You've got classic artists like Jim Lee from the '90s. I mean, you've got some really, really, really good art styles that are out there. You know, honestly, I'd say it's a mishmash of any one particular person. There's really no absolute on whose art looks better. Different artists bring different things to the table. Now, well, okay, there's some art styles that just look like shit. That are just like garbage. Pardon my language, but they're absolute crap. And we know what those art styles are. But for the ones that look pretty solid, it really just kind of depends on the story. I mean, some art styles are more conducive to stories. Like artists that draw darker are better when it comes to darker stories. That's why Jay Lee, his art was so good with regards to the Century, because it gave you this kind of throwback. It gave you this kind of, like the Century had a very dark mind, the void and all that kind of stuff. And his art gave you this kind of set this mood, this ambiance of it being a very dark atmosphere, a very dark, mysterious kind of atmosphere where you didn't really know what was going on. And it set the mood really, really well. If that art had been done by somebody else, if that art had been done by like LaRoche or something like that, like I don't think it would have been as good. It would have been like, far different. So, is Marvel now all new X-Men good? I really didn't care for it too much, but I've heard they've gotten better. In truth, I kind of gave up on all new Marvel Now's all new, all different X-Men. I give up on that pretty early on, so I didn't really enjoy it too much. Um, Spider-Man and Ant-Man after credit, because he isn't said to be in Civil War yet, and he is supposed to be in one movie before his standalone. As far as I know, he's going to be in Civil War. I don't know why he wouldn't be. Um, it would make sense to throw him in at the end of Ant-Man. It gives him plenty of time. But see, they don't even have an actor cast for the role yet, but they don't really need to. They can just kind of have a CGI scene with him like swinging around or something like that. They don't really need an actor per se. Or they can just like show somebody's hand. They don't have to show a face. There's a lot of things they can do. Um, that seems like it'd be the best time to do it, especially if they want people to go see Ant-Man. See, that's a really good marketing gimmick. If it looks like the expectation for Ant-Man isn't going to be that good, if Marvel's looking at the discussion, if Marvel's looking at the talk, and they're saying, well, I mean, people don't really care about Ant-Man, they can say, hey guys, guess what? Spider-Man is going to be at the end of Ant-Man, and people are just like, oh my god, let's go see it, and they're going to go see it just to see Spider-Man at the end of Ant-Man. Like, that'll be the reason to go see it, and it'll get people in the seats. And that's really the main focus of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Regardless of the stories they tell us, regardless of how cool the depiction of a lot of the characters are, Marvel Studios' goal is to get butts in the movie theaters, and they do that really, really well. So, um, let's see. Rob, do you think Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange should appear in Captain America Civil War? Not Doctor Strange, really. Captain Marvel might. She's not really necessary. You could replace her with anybody. In truth, she was just, in all honesty, and this is really probably going to make a few hardcore, Captain Marvel fans upset. The only reason she was in that is because Marvel was trying to get her on solo series. That's it. Like, she had a solo series running, and as soon as Civil War ended, her solo series failed and they canceled it. So, people bought it because it was part of Civil War, but that was it. I don't think you really need Captain Marvel. And, you need her in the Marvel Cinematic Universe just for the sake of saying, hey, here's one of the most important women in Marvel Comics. But you don't need her, in the Civil War film itself. You could replace her with anybody. So, let's see. Least favorite superhero? Definitely Spider-Man. It's always Spider-Man because Spider-Man sucks. I was watching the Amazing Spider-Man earlier, actually, and I was like, man, this dude sucks. Like, he's fighting a giant lizard, and he's using webs, and I was like, man, he's like struggling fighting a giant lizard. Like I can name so many people that could destroy a giant lizard in the Marvel Universe, and this guy, this guy's just like struggling, like having the hardest time doing it. And so I'm like, man, Spider-Man sucks. Like, he's important because of the legacy he created, but when you're talking about like how does Spider-Man compare to like other people in the Marvel Universe? Like, he doesn't. Like, he crawls up walls and he shoots webbing out of his hands, and like, he's strong. Cool, I guess. So, could you do a review of Dragon Ball Z? I've actually been toying with the idea of making a video explaining Dragon Ball Z because it's Japanese comics, it's manga, and we're a comic book channel. Why not? So we may do that at some point, just kind of as an experiment, just kind of a one-off, and see how it goes. So, hey Rob, if Marvel got the rights to the Fantastic Four, do you think it would be a good Phase 4? It would bring a lot of content to the table, like Galactus. They could. I don't really know. We've answered that a couple times already. They could, but again, I'm not really sure how they'd be able to. I'm not. It'd be a lot to do. They'd have a lot to tie in. So, let's see. Captain. Hold on a second. What was that? Captain America and the Punisher all must suck then. Nope. The Punisher's cool because he's unique, because he's able, he's more capable than Spider-Man is, and he has no powers. He could just like shoot Spider-Man from a mile away, and then Spider-Man would be dead, and that would be it. And that's that, because Spider-Man sucks. But like, Captain America could easily overpower Spider-Man, and he did during Civil War. So Spider-Man sucks. Let's see. Why do you hate on Spider-Man when he could beat Wolverine any day? He could? Like, Spider-Man has a healing factor equal to Wolverine? Like, Spider-Man has bones made of adamantium? Because that's... I didn't know that. Like, that's new. Let's see. What do you think of Invincible Iron Man? Honestly... are you talking about Invincible Iron Man's, like, comic run? Or are you talking about, like Superior Iron Man? Because a lot of people get those confused, so let me know. Spider-Man has spider senses, though. Okay. It still doesn't matter. Like, if the Punisher... Okay. If the Punisher was like a mile away and shot Spider-Man, Spider-Man would be dead before he heard the sound that killed him. He'd be dead before his spider sense even went off. Because the spider sense has a radius. It's not like Spider-Man's like, oh my god, there's a plane crashing that's going to be like crashing into me in like 5 minutes, and my spider sense goes off to alert me. Like, his spider sense alerts him of immediate danger. That's why he has such fast reactions. It's not like he's a fortune teller. He can't see the future. If Spider-Man doesn't alert him that like in 10 days someone's going to try to kill him, it's not how a spider sense works. So, Let's see, Rob. Do you think the Inhumans could replace the X-Men? Definitely, and that's what Marvel's doing. Marvel's replacing the Inhumans, or replacing the X-Men with the Inhumans. They're doing that in the comics. They're doing that in the movies. Like that's why I say Marvel's probably never going to get the rights to the X-Men back because they've kind of just written them off. But Sal made a really good point. The reason why the Inhumans are coming out between Infinity War Part 1 and Infinity War Part 2 is because it's possible that X-Men Apocalypse could fail. And then Marvel's like, hey guys, look, if you want to get rid of those rights, we'll go ahead and take them back, and they'll get them back, and then they'll cancel the Inhumans movie, and they'll push the Inhumans movie back, and they'll launch an X-Men movie. Makes sense. But, let's see. Rob, do you know how to speak Spanish? No. I don't speak Spanish, and my French is really really rusty. Actually, that segment on Rob Explains, where I was speaking in French, I ran that by Benny's wife, by Zodical, and she was like, "Well, I mean, it's you did a decent job, I mean, you didn't butcher it too bad." So, let's see. Did you hear that James Gunn confirmed that Fox owns Kang the Conqueror? No, but Kang the Conqueror was never really at the top of my list in terms of asking like who owns Kang the Conqueror. I mean, I never really thought about that too much. So, oh, the Inhumans are coming out after Infinity War. I thought they were coming between parts 1 and 2. Well, I mean that's fine. That makes sense. Let's see. Am I allowed to post links here? No, you can't post links to the chat. Rob, loving the new channel. Well, I appreciate it. Ghost Rider reboot, thoughts? Are they doing one? Because I haven't heard of them doing a Ghost Rider reboot, and I don't think they should. I think rebooting Ghost Rider would be a terrible decision. I mean, no one's asking for it. It's not like people are like, oh my god, like we really need Ghost Rider in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, we really need a man with a burning chain and a flaming head riding around on a motorcycle capturing demons. Like, we really, really need to have that. Like, no one's... Who's asking for that? That's what I want to know. Is Century in Battle World? Not that I know of. But again, like, for those of you guys who haven't had a chance to read Secret Wars yet, a lot of what's going on in Battle World is very new. There's a lot of things that we don't know the answer to. And so we may see him at some point along the line, or we may not. Who are the Inhumans? I have a video about the Inhumans, explaining everything you need to know about the Inhumans. Let's see. Rob, can Deadpool get killed? And do you think Thanos can the stone? All right, I don't understand your question. Let's see. Do you think Iron Man could take over as Marvel's most popular character and face, or do you think that it will always be Spider-Man and Wolverine? Oh, it'll always be Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the face of Marvel Comics. Like that's the way it is. Like Spider-Man is the face of Marvel Comics. Like there's no two ways about that. I mean that's the way it's always going to be. I mean that's why whenever you see a lot of comics, a lot of the older comics, you'll see Spider-Man's face plastered on there because it's the face of Marvel. What are your thoughts on Jim Gordon being Batman? I'm not feeling it. Wonder if you got an idea how long that'll last. Well, again, I haven't read that yet, but no, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like Bruce Wayne, there's a reason why they keep coming back to Bruce Wayne. There's a reason why John Paul Valley played Batman and then he left. There's a reason why Dick Grayson played Batman and then left. There's a reason why a lot of these people have played the role of Batman and then vacated the role back to Bruce Wayne because fans love Bruce Wayne Batman. Like that's what they want. They want Bruce Wayne Batman. So we'll get Bruce Wayne Batman back eventually. I mean, I have no doubt about that. Let's see. Will Deathstroke ever get a feature film? I don't know. I don't think Deathstroke will ever get a feature film. At least, well, he might if he did. Okay. Apex Fex. If you keep doing that, I'm just going to ban you from the chat. So, no, I don't think Deathstroke will ever get a feature film. I think that Deathstroke getting a feature film, oh, I mean, he could, and it'd be cool, and I would enjoy it. But no, I don't think that. No, I don't know. I hate questions that I can't figure out, or I guess questions that are kind of I don't know. Deathstroke is a great character. Deathstroke is a character who. I don't know. Okay, I'll leave it to you guys. Do you guys want to see a movie about Deathstroke? That's my question to you guys. Let's see. The Century versus Superman. That is an age-old question, my friend, and that question will be going on for a long time. Um, I'd say Superman, but some people say the Century. So, let's see. Hold on a second. Let's scroll back up. Somebody asked a question about in Secret Wars #2, were those dead bodies, dead Galactus bodies, lying around the raft? I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, no, those were no, I don't think so. Those were the bodies of Thor of the Thor Corps that were lying around. They were destroyed. They were killed by people. Are like, nope. They were destroyed by the Cabal. Um, yes, yes, people want to see it. Yeah. um, wow. Yes, I want to see that. It would be great. Well, I mean, I guess people are like, yeah. So, I mean, um, do I know if Hollywood would reboot Spawn? I doubt it. I don't think there'd be enough of a market. I don't think enough people would go see it that it would justify the cost of rebooting the series. I mean, it would just, there wouldn't really be any benefit to it. I mean, I'd go see it, but aside from like hardcore comic fans, I doubt many people would really go see it at all. So, let's see. I saw a list of possible actors to play Wolverine. On the list was Norman Reedus. Oh my god, dude! I would so go see a Norman Reedus Wolverine film. Like, I would love to see that. Like, he would be intense. Like, I'd love to see him as a character. Rob, favorite Marvel movie that's currently out? Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably my favorite one so far. Um, let's see. Best Iron Man suit? Probably the Extremist suit from Superior Iron Man. That's definitely the one that I think is brings the most to the table. Um, what are your opinions on the current Thor run? Well, the Thor run was interesting until we found out she was Jane Foster, and then it's not really that interesting anymore. So I'm not really that psyched about it. I'm just kind of like, well, I mean, that's cool, I guess. You know. Um, do I think Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is underpowered? Oh yeah, Thor in the comics is like way stronger than Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, yeah, it's yeah, he's very strong. um, let's see. Where did you get your Hulk and Iron Man pictures behind you? They are awesome. I had those commissioned at New York Comic Con. Thoughts on the Walking Dead spinoff coming out soon? I am really psyched. I mean, they've had it in the comics for a while, where they've had people on the West Coast, but I'm really excited to see how it happens in the TV show. Like, that's what I'm really psyched about. So, um, which I mean, The Walking Dead is a comic, and we should probably start getting into The Walking Dead sometime soon. So, did they ever reveal what Nick said to Thor to cause him to drop the hammer? No, they never revealed that. They never told us what it was that happened. Um, let's see. Which movie would be best to reference the Netflix shows even before character crossovers? Uh, hmm. Probably Civil War. Makes the most sense. Because Civil War has all different kinds of characters that were part of it in the comics. It makes sense to reference those, even if they don't actually have them in there. They could, I mean, when they're talking about, assuming that it goes by the basis of the Registration Act, they could say, well, there's people emerging all over the place that have powers. There's this guy in Hell's Kitchen that's fighting street level crime, and just kind of go from there. And that'd be really cool. So, anyway, guys, we're gonna go ahead and bring this live stream to an end. I need to get to work on Age of Apocalypse, and I think I'm gonna play a little bit of Destiny. So, if any of you guys want to join me for a spot of Destiny, send me a message on PS4. My PS4 handle is Marvel Explained, and we'll get together and play. Like, we'll play some Prison of Elders or something like that. So, so yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.